Oh, hello and good morning. Sun is just coming up, coffee's in hand, and today's going to be a road adventure. Go for a couple of superchargers, state park, and I'm going to stop at Pipestone National Monument. So if you haven't guessed yet, it's going to be southwest Minnesota. And do I still collect superchargers? Yes. Things got a little weird, but I guess I'll say once I start collecting something, I want to finish. So there's, I think, 5 left. Today I'll get 3 out of those 5. And I can always build new ones, but getting pretty close to caught up on those. So here is a look at today's loop. I don't think I'll need to stop in Mankato, but that'll be a prettier way to go down just in case I do. And with that, we'll get rolling. For today's first surprise, instead of going the scenic route through Mankato, well, I wasn't really watching that closely. The car re-navigated to the interstate, so we'll take 35 down. That will be not as pretty, but faster, so that's okay. So here I am with all the semis in the morning, escaping the metro. Today, there's not going to be any hyperlapses because I forgot that camera. So we'll try this shot and see how it works. Additionally, the audio might be better, or maybe not better, but more consistent, because I did remember my mic, which I am usually way too lazy to use. Hopefully that will be an improvement. So it's going to be about 120 miles to Sherburn. It's a chilly morning, 45 degrees Fahrenheit. The temperatures have been falling off a cliff this week and reminding all of us that winter is coming. And here we are on I-90, about an hour to go to Sherburn. And one bonus of this route, I don't remember exactly where it kicks in, but there's a lot of wind farms and hopefully a lot of solar as well. But seeing more of that along the way. I personally don't think those are eyesores. I think they look like progress. Rolling into Sherburn. Between the wind and the temperature, up over 360 watt hours a mile. Rolling in at just about 13%. I think we'll just be here about 15 minutes or so, not sure, we'll see. This one is at your local come and go. Everyone's favorite convenience store. Here we are at the Sherburn Supercharger. Not a lot going on here, pretty simple one. This is an older V2, just 150 kilowatt. Looks like we'll just be spending about 10 minutes here, and then we'll be on to Worthington. I do not see a lot of options around here for food. You just get whatever the gas station's got. Well, that was more like 5 minutes-ish. I don't know. As usual, could barely finish a snack in time and hit the restroom, and I'm out of here with 45%. Biasing to Worthington, which is going to be a V3 charger, which is faster. And we'll spend a little more time at that one. One of the things that's really nice that got added, I think since the last time I made a video in the car, is attention monitoring. And they added that both with and without sunglasses on, and that means you don't get the steering wheel nags where you have to apply pressure to the steering wheel. Of course, it's still best to hold the steering wheel. And in a cold weather state like Minnesota, you're incentivized to hold the wheel for different reasons now, which is that it's heated, and that's the way you're going to keep your hands warm in the winter. But that said, on these longer trips, it is pretty delightful to not always have to be on the wheel all the time. So use it wisely, but I've found that it's very good. Also, it is very good at busting you, as it has always been. If it sees that you've got a phone in your hand or something crazy like that, it will immediately require physical input and give you an autopilot strike if you're not careful. And you don't kind of respond immediately to its training, so to say. So these days, we're not the only ones training the AIs. They're also training us. And with that, en route to the next one. 43 miles, 40 minutes. Some of the larger wind farms are now coming onto the horizon. Quite a big one here. So you probably just saw some of the wind turbines went through some of the bigger wind farms in this corridor. It turns out this phone does do halfway decent hyperlapses, so maybe you'll get some of those after all. Well, that last segment was very windy, and between the speed and the preconditioning, up over 400 watt-hours a mile. Welcome to Worthington. Let's get plugged in. And here we are at the Worthington Supercharger. This is a V3, 250 kilowatt. It has a trailer stall, also nice. It's at a Hy-Vee, tons of options, tons of restaurants around here. And this is the newer Supercharger in Worthington. I'll probably overcharge here because a lot of the other activities are happening in this region. And the next charger will be as we start to head home. Up next is a special bonus, and I'll tell you about that when we get there. You may have thought you were already at the Worthington Supercharger, and you would be correct. However, there is another Worthington Supercharger. This is an older one, a V2. This is, for fun trivia, in fact, the very first supercharger that was ever installed in the state of Minnesota. And it is still open. I don't understand why it's still open. The other one is about a block that way, and it's a V3, and it's much better. I suppose for the capacity, maybe when it gets busy in this corridor. Otherwise, just for nostalgia, but I doubt they would keep one open for nostalgia. Alas, this was a nice one to check 2 boxes in one city. Now that I've had my charging, I want some parks. So on with the recreational portion of this adventure. Well, you can always count on the wind in this section of I-90. It is blasting. So that last one was the last of the new superchargers for this trip. That is the ones I have not been to before. And that means I have 2 left. Although there's a few that have been permitted that might get built ahead of me finishing. The 2 are up north. One is in Duluth proper, which is a weird one inside a parking garage. But I go to Duluth often enough. That won't be too hard to get. And the other one is Tofty, way up the North Shore. Another delightful place to go. So only a matter of time before I get those. Next up is Blue Mounds State Park. Always been one of my favorites. They have buffalo there, and a new visitor center, I think, if it's open. So I wanted to check that out quick, though we have a lot of stops ahead, so I won't be spending too much time in that park. And here we are at Blue Mounds State Park. It's going to be a very quick visit, not doing much here today. The visitor center I thought was getting redone is actually going to be demolished, so never mind about that. Not going to check that out. This reminds me, they have teepees here. A lot of the Minnesota state parks with teepees are a good time. Worth checking out. I'm going to go check out the bison platform, grab the binoculars and see if I can spot any. Well, this is their range. No luck spotting any down on this end. I did see probably between 8 and 12 eagles up on either part of the range, so I may drive up there. And we have bison sighting. They were down on the south end, although they're way over there. And here I spotted some much closer. So yeah, here is what was that pretty cool information center, visitor center, which I guess is going to be gone. Always take the bonus trail. This is the Burr Oak Trail, and I would have never guessed there was a shaded trail like this. And it goes down over to, I think, the bottom of the quarry. Indeed it does. That's pretty neat. I've been to this park a few times. I've only ever been up to the top of this. This is a very cool way to do it. I've also been pretty much drowning in monarchs. I think I saw 10 at once at one point. That's what I just came down. I think we're actually headed to the cool part now. Yes, indeed we are. Well, I'm reasonably certain this is where I saw all the eagles earlier, but they've moved on to somewhere else. A little more than I bargained for getting down here, and I'm in the wrong shoes, but well worth it. And not too far from Blue Mounds State Park is Touch the Sky Prairie. It's a national refuge. I've not been here, been near it many times. Thought I'd check it out. Because my last hike was more than I'd planned, and I'm hungry, I'm not going to do a real hike here. It does look pretty. And what do we see in the distance? Our favorite wind turbines. All the way across the sky. What does it mean? Anyhow, it's a pretty spot. Time to move on. There evidently is also a waterfall in the prairie, which I don't get. I'll check that out sometime. And quick side note, the entire hyperlapse you saw coming here was full self-driving. I didn't touch a single input the whole way. So, my opinion, anyone that says full self-driving doesn't have it together by now, well, I disagree. And, I mean, that's on a 4-year-old car that is actually stuck on an older version of the phone. So, I think it's handy. Now it's time to race into Pipestone. I'm going to hopefully be able to eat at the 8th Street Diner before it closes. We'll see. Kind of be pushing it on the time I arrive. From there, probably hit the County Museum and onto the National Monument. It was not too late. So this is 8th Avenue Diner. And that's a Swiss and bacon burger with some upgraded hash browns. Looks good. Okay, the burger was good, very solid. The hash browns were even better. I would suggest, if you hit this place, I would go for the breakfast. Looks like it's going to be rockstar parking for the County Museum. I'm at the Pipestone County Museum. When I first stepped in here, it looked tiny, but there's multiple levels and kind of a lot going on. So I would say worth a stroll through for $3. My goodness, I think the storm is blowing in, but pretty neat building. So coming through on a Thursday, a lot is closed. It looks like this is the historic district here. Well, I'm at Pipestone National Monument. I'm not going to do a lot of filming here because it's not really that kind of vibe. But it is pretty amazing. Definitely a special place and worth a visit. If you want to see more of it, well, just come here. Well, one miss of this trip. I did meet the owner as he was shutting the gate, but I just missed Fort Pipestone, which looks like a tourist trap, but evidently it's an actually okay place. Not this time. Maybe another time. And so that will conclude the Pipestone area. Next stop is going to be Marshall for the Supercharger. Already preconditioning. Looks like about 45 minutes to Marshall. My goal was to come out here where it would be warmer, and I had a better chance of avoiding the rain until later in the day. And so far I have. However, as you can probably see, the rain may come yet. And that is what we call a storm front. And welcome to Marshall. A little bit of rain has arrived with me. Not a lot to say at this one. It's not a new Supercharger. Been here many times. Another Hy-Vee, another Charger, another day. Probably here about 15 minutes. And then it will be onto a park that is reportedly amazing. We'll see. Well, here we are at the last park, but not the last stop at the last park. It's Ramsay Cansayapi, if I'm pronouncing that right, park. It has come highly recommended for parks in the region, and I don't know what to expect here. So, first stop seems to be a waterfall. Let's check it out. All right, hanging bridge. Get some free credit right there. Bouncy hanging bridge. Always gotta love gaps in the hanging bridge that let you see below. Treacherous cliffs to the Redwood River below. More bonus points. It is indeed a waterfall. There's a bunch of trails around here. Oh, and the mosquitoes are coming out. May have to go prepare better for that. There are trails everywhere and switchbacks just down to the river. And I hear thunder. The rain is coming. Unexpectedly beautiful. Second stop. We'll see what's next. Well, the rain has come, and the thunder and lightning. So there are campsites all along the river. I've counted maybe at least 4 playgrounds so far. And I guess there's a golf course. Meh. Gonna do a quick run and gun. I think the storm is really picking up, but this is the top. I would say a solid area for recreation. And all of a sudden, we're exiting the park in a neighborhood. So, too bad the weather turned. It'd be sort of amazing to live near that park. All right, well, that was solid. Now just 96 miles back, a couple hours driving, and we'll close this one out. Well, it has been a fairly eventful ride back weather-wise. Just crossing over an amazing rainbow right now. If that comes through, I'm not sure. On my left, it is open sky and sunshine. On my right, a little further back, there's a tornado warning. And part of the ride was directly through a thunderstorm. But eventually I was able to let that pass me by and just chase the far side of that one. Some idea of the dichotomy here. One side. Other side. Rainbow. Okay, I just have to point out that's a double rainbow. And I thought there'd be nothing interesting happening on the way home. Sorry about all the interference. Just capturing for the record, it is all the way across the sky. I can only see the double on this side though. Presently driving directly into a rainbow. And there is even a faint double rainbow. Sunrise to sunset. The sky is pink. And that means we're closing this out. That was about 450 miles driven and 8 hours on the road. You saw the other stuff. And if you were to tell me that otherwise boring drive was going to end in a double rainbow, I would say you're crazy, but that's what happened. Tough to top that. Until next time, take it easy.